Exactly where we left. Now, make sure before you proceed onto this movie, again, it's super important that you go into the Firebase console, click on the authentication, and make sure that the sign-in method for the Google is enabled. Otherwise, it's gonna throw random error, which are pretty hard to debug. And by the way, this is the tab where you can look up for the docs. I'll show you and give you a simple assignment for the docs as well. Don't worry about that. So let's go in here and let's just leave this sign in with the Google method there. Now how you can proceed. Now proceeding is really simple. First of all, you have to call a provider there. Okay, that's the step number one. And in the provider, we are going to create a new instance of Google Auth provider. How do we do that? We write a keyword new and then we are going to simply call firebase.auth. And interestingly and surprisingly, this auth doesn't run with a pair of parentheses. This is just an auth dot. And then you have to simply say Google Auth provider. And there we go. So this is basically an inbuilt method there, which is just invoked whenever you need to sign up with the Google. So we need a provider for this. Now, rest of the stuff is pretty easy. This is just the hard part. Rest of the stuff is like a breeze. What you have done in the sign up with the email and password, or creating a user with the email and password, it's exactly the same. So what we're going to do, we are going to simply use firebase.auth, just simply like that, and use sign in with provider. There we go. And in the provider, oops, not the provider, sign in with the pop-up, actually pop-up. And make sure you are writing the case sensitivity pretty clearly in here. This is one of the phase where you actually will make errors there. So we are going to just provide a provider there. Again, you might have got that right. This is going to return us a promise. So we are going to hold that promise inside a variable of promise. And there we go. Now, by the way, there are two methods by redirecting and by popup. Popup is pretty common in the web-based application, but if your application is like on a mobile device, then popup is not a good idea. You might want to go with the redirect way. Okay, so we'll go with the redirect way as a simple assignment for you, but it's not a big deal. It's not very tough. I'll show you the ways and then I'll give you an assignment. Okay, and just like always, promise needs to be handled with then and catch. So we are going to simply say promise dot then. This is, we are going to handle the good part, and it throws us back a simple result, and we're going to throw a callback function in here. There we go. And the first thing that we are gonna do is hold up the user. So we're gonna create a variable user, and that is gonna be simply inside the result dot user. So there we are holding the user. Now, in case you're wondering what actually is being thrown up back into the result, we can do a quick log for the result. It's almost exactly the same that we were getting when we were signing the user with the email and the password. It's almost exactly the same. Okay, that is the good part. Now let's also make a database entry as well. That makes sense. So firebase dot database, and that is how we access the database. And we're gonna do a quick ref, and that ref is gonna go inside. I'm not gonna make a mistake. I know I did this mistake quite a lot of time in the last video. So, but this time we are gonna go inside the users, and we are simply gonna use user user.uid. And the reason why I'm holding it into the user, this entire result for the user, is that is why I can access the UID there. No big deal. That is pretty easy. And now just set the value. So we're going to set a couple of values this time, not just one. So first value we are going to set is going to be the email. That is going to be simply user dot email. And the second value is going to be simply name, which comes up as user dot display name. There we go. And I'll show you how I find out that how I find out that the name is called as display name in a second. But I think it's a good time to handle the other part of the promise as well. So we'll go outside this callback and we'll move outside the then, and we're going to simply say promise dot catch, because I think it's always a good idea to catch the errors, because I may have made some of the typos there. I'm not pretty sure. And again, we are going to do a callback function. Pretty easy. You must be pro in that by now. And as soon as we catch the error, we are going to just simply create a variable msg, or we can call that as err as well. I'll simply leave that as a simple exercise for you. Right now, I'm going to just do a message for that, and it's going to be e.message. There we go. And let's just log out the msg. Sounds good. You could have also set a simple err for that, and could have changed the state as well, but I'll leave that as a simple exercise for you. And I think we are ready to rock and roll. But I won't be doing this on this screen. Surely I can do. And there is provider assigned but never used. Okay. So I made a typo just as I expected. And there we go. So let me fix that, save that, and there we go. Our application is good now. Now I could have done that in here, but notice as I go into the Firebase console, my account is already logged in there. So that is why it's going to just give me simple next and every stuff. We won't be able to log in there. So what I'll be doing is I'll open another instance of another browser that I have in my system, Firefox, and open up localhost 3000 there. So copy this and bring my lovely Firefox there, localhost 3000, and there we go. And the only reason why I'm doing this is because I want to show you the entire screen of Google login. Okay, my system might be a little bit slow because I'm just uploading a video on the YouTube as well, so it might be a little bit slow. So sign in with the Google. As I click on that, and this kind of pop-up opens up. So it says, hey, there you go, you can open up your account there as well. I'll log in with my account and click on the next. It's asking me for the password. Let me give the password there, and I'll click on the sign in now. And there we go, it has authenticated us. Now right now we haven't done anything for the authentication or anything like that. That is why it has just disappeared as soon as it gives me all the permission and everything. But obviously it has made an entry in the database, and we should be able to see that in the users as well. There we go, the user is there and the provider is Google there, and we have got a user UID there as well. It should make an entry in the database as well. We could have told it to do more things, but we didn't told it to do anything, and we need to find where it is. There we go. So display name is there as well. Now also what I'll be doing is running this in here and open up the console. So inspect element and open up the console, and we can see that a lot of things are being downloaded in here. So we have got a user object, credentials, and everything. So let me go back onto our familiar screen and do it again so that you can see a lot of stuff. Inspect and go to the console, and I'll do a quick sign in with the Google. And since I'm already registered with this account, this shouldn't take long. Okay, there we go. So just verified us again. And notice that we have got a lot of objects in here, and in the users you can see I have got a few things. For example, there we go, we have got a display name, that is my name in here, and a few more things. For example, is anonymous? No, it's not anonymous. And good thing is email verified. Now it's true. So this is a good advantage if you want to create a database with authenticated users and unique users. So that is nice. And notice one more thing. I already logged in there, and I clicked on this again. Now notice what happens in the Firebase console. In the authentication, there were no two users that being created. Also in the database, notice there were no two users again being created. So automatically, since we are creating the node based on this unique ID, this unique ID is unique to one unique email. That is why we have been able to do it very smoothly. So obviously we haven't done much in here, but Google login itself is a big deal. Okay. Now what is your assignment? Now go into the authentication section, and this is the URL that you have to go: firebase.google.com/docs/auth/web/google-signin. I know that's a big one. So right now we have done is this pop-up window call, a sign in with pop-up. Okay. Now what you have to do this with the redirect. So sign in with the redirect. and you have to look into the documentation. I won't be giving you any tips or hints or anything. You just have to do other kind of redirect of the login. This is a good time to read the documentation, and trust me, in your job, wherever you are working, you might have already seen this. If you're new, then reading the documentation is a big deal in the web or any kind of development. So make it a good habit, and I'm pretty sure you'll be able to do it. Let me know in the Q&A section that what are the problems you faced, how you solved those problems, and give me a screenshot of what that redirect looks like, and I'll surely catch you up in the next video.